Hola. From the west side. It is me, DCThePurpleDiva. Welcome to Not So Random Chat. And the Monday mood is very, very somber, you guys. Unless you were living under a rock, you know that Kobe Bryant is no longer here in this dimension. His spirit has moved on. And so has the spirit of his daughter, Gianna, at the young age of 13. And Kobe was only 41. Hey, uppity unicorn. So that's why I have my angel up tonight as my avatar. I don't even know how to talk about it. But I found out at church, because y'all know I'm a church girl. And the pastor told us from the pulpit. And this is like the assistant pastor. And my pastor, who is a woman, always, has always thought of herself as, Kobe's pastor. She's always prayed, for him and, for his family. She had a real affinity for him. And y'all, this is massive. Number one, it happened the day after LeBron James passed him, in scoring. It wasn't even 24 hours before he, and I believe that the tweet about LeBron passing him was probably, if not his last tweet, one of his last tweets. Now, the eerie thing for me is that the night before, I was out, and my guy we were looking at the sky, and we were talking about how foggy it looked, because I live in Southern California, and it was kind of, overcast the night before, and it was overcast yesterday morning. And do I think that had played a factor in it? I mean, obviously I'm going to wait, for the NTS to come back with their report. But I believe that the weather conditions had something to do with it. But one of the things that I have found out, obviously in the time since then, is that this is the only helicopter pilot that Kobe trusted. And also, he and his wife had a pact that they would never be up in a helicopter together. Because this was a normal form of transportation for him. And he did it so that he would be able to spend more time with his family, and because he could afford to do it. But that was the motivation behind him doing the helicopter thing. Hey, 1SP. Thank you. And thank you, 1SP, for running my playlist. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that. But Kobe was, a normal doing, getting in the helicopter. And this particular one was for his daughter. Hey, Miss Mahogany. I'm doing okay. I'm still really, shocked about, Kobe and his daughter and the other 7 passengers, one of whom was the assistant coach for the basketball team. Then there was the coach for Orange Coast College. He, his wife, and his daughter. One of his daughters, because he had other daughters, so he's got other children that are left without their parent. Then there was, like I said, the assistant basketball coach. There was a mother and her daughter who was one of Gigi's teammates, and the pilot. So I mean, I pray for the family. I really, really pray for the family. My first thought was, I prayed that he was saved. I pray that he knew Jesus. I pray that he knew the Lord. I prayed that he knew the Lord. I do know that he and his wife attended a church in Orange County, and the church that they attended was a Catholic church. But that doesn't mean that he wasn't saved. Some people are in the Catholic Church that are saved. I pray that he knew the Lord. Hey, Matt. It was, even still here in Los Angeles area, guys, there's nothing else on local TV here, just about. They're not able to go back to normal programming. It's going to be like this for a minute, I figured this whole week is going to be kind of crazy in Los Angeles. And I don't think that, a lot of people, we're grieving over the fact that his life was taken at such a young age, and that his daughter's life was taken when she was just starting, and that these other children were on the plane, these other families were on that helicopter. It just, to me is senseless. But from what they were saying, the pilot was trying to land. I don't know if he was having engine problems. I don't even want to speculate, but I can tell you that they've only recovered 2 of the bodies. So that means that 7 of them are still up there. And yes, they have people up there, obviously guarding the area and everything. But for their bodies to be laying there, because it's taken them time to find all of them in that rough terrain, that's the size of a football field. I know. I don't want to believe it either. I don't. It's just, I know a lot of people are thinking that it's strange that his His wife hasn't said anything. I don't think that it's strange. I think that she is absolutely broken because she lost her husband and one of her children. And, you know, I mean, I believe that a statement has come out, I guess, from, because I believe his parents and his sisters live in Las Vegas. And I guess a statement came out that they're not ready to talk. From what I understand, he was trying to mend the rift with his father at the time of his passing. But, you know, he'd had a rift with his parents since like 2013 because they were trying to sell his high school memorabilia and some of his NBA memorabilia in auctions without his permission. And that caused a major rift. And he, you know, basically stopped talking to his parents and stopped talking to his sisters because he felt that they were too reliant on him financially. And both of his sisters went to college and were well educated. So I can see the point. Yeah, I know. I don't believe, I mean, we don't understand, you know, 1SP, why this was the timing, you know, why the creator allowed this to happen at this point, because, you know, a lot of you guys don't really know about the Kobe off the basketball court. But in Los Angeles, he had a really major impact on things in the community. He was part of the community, you know, just like Magic Johnson is part of the community. And he was really, you know, trying to help young athletes as a mentor and teacher, you know. And, you know, I'm sure that it's a reason why he and the daughter who was going to she was going to be the next Kobe, you know. That was she was the one who was just like him, looked just like him. And they were both taken at the same time, doing what they both love, you know, basketball. You know, but he was being a father. That was what he wanted to be good at, more than basketball. And he was a good dad. But I agree, everyone has a season. And although we don't understand why it was Kobe and his daughter's time to go, as well as the other passengers on the helicopter, the coach from Orange Coast College for baseball, I mean, he was coach of the year last year. We don't know why it was their time. And I do know that they're not even going to go through the voting process for Kobe. He's automatically inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame this year. He was already eligible and was going to go in, but they're not even going through the formality of voting him in light of his death. Hey, DOD. Thanks for listening and being here. You know, it's just, I guess, heart-wrenching for all of us because of how he left here. You know, I mean, I think that's the thing for most of us. And I don't know if you guys have seen, there is like a petition that's already got over 400,000 signatures already to change the NBA logo from the generic basketball player to Kobe. Have you guys seen that petition? That, you're right about that, Matt. There's players that are living that won't match, the legacy that Kobe is leaving behind, even at this young age, And I mean, you guys, he won an Oscar. No basketball player has ever won an Oscar. He won an Oscar for a film about basketball. It was a short animated film called Dear Basketball. It was basically about his journey, his relationship with basketball. I urge you guys to, grab it. I think it's maybe 20 minutes at the most. It's, it's not a long one because it's under 30 minutes. It was animated. And it wasn't a cartoon really one SP. It was like a drawing. It was like it was not the kind of animation that you see in cartoons. It was a different type of animation. It was really good. It's really good though. Yep, won an Oscar for animated short for children. But what we don't know is that was the direction that Kobe was going into. He wanted to go into entertainment. That's why he had done that. He was shocked he won an Oscar for that. He already had other projects in the works. He was going into the movie industry. That's what he wanted to do with the next chapter of his life. And he had projects in the works. I mean, I think for the city of Los Angeles, this is a deep blow. I mean, the millennials lost Nipsey last year, and to lose Kobe at the very beginning of this year. It's, because he was the franchise player. He only played for the Lakers. He was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets, but never played one day with them. Was then traded to the Lakers and only played for the Lakers his entire career. There's not a lot of NBA players that can say that about their careers. Michael Jordan can't say that. Shaq can't say that. LeBron can't say that they played for one team their entire career. Yeah, well, we won't say that it's the will of God. We'll just say that God allowed it to happen because we really don't know. We don't know what's going on, what the enemy is doing in the cosmos either. God protects us, and I believe that whatever happened, that everyone on that helicopter had time to make peace with the one above. It just shows you how fleeting life is. And that you really, really do need to, you need to live in the present. Don't stay stuck on stuff that happened in the past, because tomorrow is not promised to anyone. Yeah, well, they want to change it from Jerry West, Ledford. They want to change it. They got 400,000 signatures so far. And this is just the day after Kobe died. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's very interesting that it's out there. It's all over Facebook. The image is on Facebook, and I've seen it on Instagram as well. And I've seen it on YouTube. I think I saw it on African diaspora channel. I think I saw it on their community tab. Hey, Miss Gen X. So, it's very possible that they will change it to Kobe, since it currently is Jerry West, the very person who made sure he came to Los Angeles. But he was really, really active with homelessness. More importantly, with like the homeless youth. There's like a couple of places here in LA, like Covenant House and my friend's place, that he would, donate money to on a regular basis for the kids. I think we're going to find out a lot of things about Kobe, good things that we didn't know about him, and I don't think that, I think that it's going to take a minute before we hear from his widow, his wife. I think we just need to pray for them, because, right now she's trying to probably keep 3 other children, together. She's probably trying to keep it together for the other 3 children. I think the fact that no one in his family is speaking right now really speaks volumes of the fact of how much it's impacting them. Regardless of any rift that was going on. No parent should have to bury their child. Hey, C-Rock, how are you? It's got to be devastating. I say for his mother and father, as well as for his wife and her family. The whole situation, and I just pray then nothing crazy starts to come out of this, like people, like lawsuits start flying, like people trying to blame, Kobe in any way. I pray that, there's nothing, that there was nothing, in the pilot's history or anything, but it's appearing that the pilot was clean and he was the properly, trained to fly in the weather conditions. I know they've been very disrespectful. I haven't talked about that chick that said the N-word yesterday, but when talking about she said the Los Angeles instead of Lakers, she said the N-word. And she was talking about Kobe. And I heard what I heard. So she said it. I don't think anything's going to happen to the chick, though. But we all heard it. And several YouTubers have posted it on their YouTubes. Shouts out to DOD for posting it on his page from another YouTuber. Exactly, 1SP. Exactly, 1SP. Exactly. That's the thing. The devastation. And I think the fact that there were children on that helicopter, and in my head, I'm sorry, because I know that most of the bodies are still sprawn up on the hill. It's heartbreaking to think that their remains are out on some hill among debris. And it's going to take them several days to get all of the remains down from there. Well, 1SP, everyone feels differently, in regards to it. I think I'm devastated over the fact that so much life was taken in that accident. And, I'm very empathetic with things like that. Yeah, we were all shocked that he said anything. But, I'm glad that he was at least respectful, and the majority of the comments in regards to Kobe were very, very respectful. You have some media who just don't know what the heck, because some media like TMZ inaccurately trying to be the first to jump out there and get something out there, put out erroneous information. It was only when the Los Angeles County sheriffs came out there that the proper information was put out as to the number of people that were involved in it. And, although, the names of people were coming out, the sheriff's department did do the right thing by not confirming anybody's name, because, you know, they had, like they said, they had a manifesto, but they still had to follow proper procedure, you know, and, you know, so it literally was, I would say probably by late last night, all of the names of everyone were known. But I believe it was during that time that they were literally notifying family. Yeah, that was TMZ. But the local news here in Los Angeles started giving the correct account number pretty quickly. As soon as, I would say by 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, West Coast time, which is 5 o'clock on the East Coast, the correct information was put out. And it was put out locally, so it, of course, took a little longer for everybody else to get it, but it locally, the correct information was out. And it's even this morning, you know, people didn't have all of the accurate information that weren't local to this area. Man, she's gonna be answering to the Lord, so I'm not even worried about that girl. You know, she served a purpose, you know, and you know, unfortunately, that whole situation happened because of Kobe making a statement and putting a target on his back. And I think he learned from that. And I don't think he was ever unfaithful to his wife ever again. I think he learned his lesson the hard way. You know, because we all saw him boasting, you know, about it before that. So, but I think he learned his lesson. And my opinion is, if his wife forgave him for it, then who are the rest of us to be holding that over this man's head for the rest of his life? Because he did not actually rape this girl. He cheated. But, you know, that was a long time ago. And he had his day in court. And I think he's done a lot in his life. Had done a lot in his life after that, because that whole situation, when once we knew that it was not rape, then it was now a personal situation between him and his wife. You know what I mean? You know, I don't agree with adultery, but at that point, that was between a man and his wife. He apologized. She got a big rock out of it, didn't she, y'all? And I mean, their marriage, you know, I mean, I noticed that he was very private with his marriage, with his, you know, with his marriage and everything while he was in the NBA. You know, but after he got out of the NBA, I mean, I followed him on IG. Everything was about his kids, y'all. That man loved his children. It was all about them. Everything he was doing was about the kids. You know, he always had an affinity for kids. Even when he was a basketball player. You know, and I mean, I know they should have the affinity for, but they don't always have an affinity for kids. But he did. Yeah, he was a 100% about his family, 1SP. Unfortunately, and being about his family is why he's not here. You know, it's part of why he's not here, because that was about his family. That was about his daughter. Yeah, he apologized to everyone. You know, but he didn't rape that girl. He took advantage of a situation, but she wanted to be in that situation. He was only 17. Exactly. He was 17 years old when he started in the NBA. You know, and I mean, when he first got into the NBA, I mean, he was something, you know. He was, you know, and all I could be is like, you know what? I want to like you, Kobe, and I'm going to blame everything on your youth because you're young. You know, because a lot of the stuff that he did when he first got in the NBA is because he didn't go to college. You know, he came straight in from high school, so he hadn't had that college experience of, you know, to really prepare him for playing in the NBA. And so he basically, his first year or two, was the hard knocks life. You know, and he had to grow up fast. You know, that's why I said the first couple of seasons was the hard knocks life for him. That's what I'm talking about, 1SP. He had to learn the hard knocks life because he hadn't gone to college, even though he was. But I'm going to say one of the things that made Kobe a great basketball player was his work ethic. He worked at being a great basketball player. He worked at it. He didn't take it for granted. He never took it for granted. He pushed his body, you know, to do things. I mean, he talked about that last game, how he had no hops. He had nothing. But he was able to come in there and score all those points. But he made himself into that by the work ethic, by the getting in there, you know, practicing when nobody else was practicing. You know, I mean, Magic, you know, even felt that Kobe was a better athlete than himself. And, you know, like right now, well, as of yesterday, LeBron James was the most searched athlete. I believe that by the end of this week, that won't be the case anymore, and it'll be Kobe Bryant. I believe Kobe will become the most searched athlete over LeBron James. Did you guys see that Time cover? Time magazine's putting Kobe on the cover. I know, that's the thing to me, Matt. I mean, I don't believe she was raped. Exactly, DOD. 60 points, and he said he had no legs. He said his legs were done, and he gave 60 points. You know, but my heart grieves for his parents and his sisters and the relationship that could have been, that they truly destroyed with him. Money. I'm gonna tell y'all, in my own family, similar stuff happened. My nephew, who was a first round draft pick in the NFL. Yeah, the money. It was never good enough. And so he had to do similar to what Kobe did. Cut himself off from his mom and his siblings. And the siblings didn't want nothing from him. But he had to cut them off because the mom would try to use the other siblings to get to him. So, that money, makes people act crazy and feel entitled. I know, 1SP. That's what I was trying to say that about the arrogance in a nice way. I was trying to say it in a nice way. When I was like, I just put that off to him being young, because he was very arrogant when he first came, into the league. And, but a lot of us understood that was him. That was because he had not, gone through that college training grounds before he came into the NBA. Not to say that he wouldn't have been that way if he had have gone to college. He may have still been that way. But I think we all can agree that we loved the older Kobe as he matured, as a ball player. He gained people's respect. So I think we can give him that, But I think that, even though we feel that he's gone too soon, we have to think about also all the things that he accomplished in that 41 years that a lot of other people would not accomplish in twice that amount of time. I mean, only NBA player to win an Academy Award, only NBA player, only athlete who has their handprint and footprints at Mann's Chinese Theater in Hollywood, California, with all the stars. Even Magic doesn't have them up there. one of the very few basketball players that ever played for one team their entire career. He's not the only, but he's one of the few. You know, and at the time of him entering the NBA, he was the youngest. And because of athletes like he, you know, and LeBron, nobody can go into the NBA without going to college for at least a year. Personally, I think they should go for 2 at least. So they have at least the equivalent of an associate's degree. I'm just saying. But I do feel that we probably would have seen a whole lot more out of Kobe if he had lived longer. Yeah, LeBron was 19. Kobe was 17. But I think that there was another athlete who was also 17, but he was younger than Kobe. In other words, you know, he was like, his birthday was later in the year or something than Kobe. So he was younger than Kobe. But at the time that Kobe came in, he was the youngest. But somebody else now, I believe, holds that title. You know, I mean, he was able to play basketball in the Olympics and represent his country. I think that was one of the things that he said made him so proud. It made a lot of those basketball players who were professional athletes, who had not gone to college. I mean, had not gone to the Olympics when they were in college. I think it made a lot of them, you know, very proud. That's who it is. Yeah, because Kevin Garnett was a little younger than Kobe. They were both 17, but Kevin Garnett was like born late. His birthday was later. So it made him younger than the youngest over Kobe. But it took a while. So, you know, I mean, Kobe's, you know, he left a big footprint. He left a big footprint. You know, so although, you know, we feel robbed, you know, of whatever was going to happen in his, you know, in the future. He had done so much, you know. And, you know, I don't know the reasons why his daughter's not, you know, why his daughter was also taken, you know, at the same time. You know, to us, you know, she was just starting. You know? But there's a reason why she went with her dad. You know? But I think it'll be interesting if they do actually change the logo to Kobe. That would be shocking, actually. You know? It would be shocking. But they already have over 400,000 signatures. I'm sure they're going to get well over 1 million. I don't know how many signatures they're trying to get. But they're going to get those signatures. Whatever number they're trying to get, I'm sure they're going to exceed it. It would be nice though, you know, if they changed it to Kobe. Have y'all I know y'all are seeing that it's that some of the teams are retiring the number 24. Wouldn't it be a trip if everybody retired the number 24? If all of the NBA teams retired the number 24? Wouldn't that be a trip, y'all? I know Mark Cuban did it with the Dallas Mavericks. And I was hearing that some other teams were considering doing it as well. That would really be, you know, I mean, it's a trip. You're just seeing like the way that, you know, so many people looked at this man, you know, and I think that he did have a, you know, a quality about him that, you know, drew people to him, and he could not blend into the, you know, woodwork even if he tried. You know, his height, he was going to stand out even if he was not a professional athlete. I know she has got to be heartbroken. That woman has got to be heartbroken. I mean, devastating. Doesn't even cover it. But she's probably trying to be strong for her other children, you know, and trying to hold it together for them. But I mean, I feel for her. You know, she's only 37 years old, and she, you know, lost her husband. You know, she probably, you know, thought they were going to grow old together, and so did he, I'm sure. You know, I don't think he even imagined that he would go out this way. You know, but like I said at the very beginning of the broadcast, he and his wife had a pact that they would not both be on a helicopter together. So that's why it was only him and their daughter. Could you imagine? Could you guys imagine if the whole family? I don't even want to think about it. You know, because, you know, one mother, father, and daughter were on there. Another mother and her daughter were on there. Kobe and his daughter was on there. A coach, an assistant coach was on there. You know, and the pilot. 3 children, 3 teenage girls who just wanted to play basketball. Yeah, I guess you could say that one, SP, because, you know, you got to have money to be up in a helicopter. You got to have money for that. And my understanding was it was his private helicopter for his personal use. That's my understanding. Hey, Blind Needle. Hey, Life with Damo. Damo! Thank Thank you for coming, Damo. It was his, that's what they are saying, 1SP. They are saying that it was his personal, but you know, we don't know that yet. We won't know for sure if it was really his personal helicopter until the full NTS report comes back, because that's part of what they're going to let us know. So we don't know for sure. But it's just a loss of life. But you know, when you look at it, Kobe left a huge footprint. He, you know, he will be remembered. You know, he will be remembered. And I hope people remember what a great dad he was. You know, not just that he was a great basketball player. You know, remember the things that he did when he wasn't on the basketball court. You know, how much of his time and his own money he gave. You know, how he was trying to teach discipline to the next generation of athletes. You know what I mean? He wasn't your regular ball player. Dude spoke 5 languages fluently. My dad speaks 5 languages fluently. Okay. That's the only other black man I know who speaks 5 languages, my father. You know, so, you know, he wasn't your regular, smegular athlete. He built himself into a great athlete through working. He worked for that. It didn't come easy for Kobe. You know? Even though he was talented and had, you know, obviously God-given talent. But to be the kind of team player he grew into, yeah, he had to work at that. Exactly, 1SP. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said fluently. He wasn't your regular smegular. You know, shoot. A lot of athletes have problems speaking just one language. You know? So, yeah. I know, Matt. I didn't like that either. You know, if he was not a person of color, I wonder if they would have brought that stuff up at the time of his death. I thought that was tasteless and insensitive. But so was using the N-word from that crazy lady. You know, they've been plastering her face all over YouTube today. But yeah, I didn't like the way that they kept bringing that up. I'm like, that has nothing to do with this right now. He was not convicted of rape. Okay. So why are you bringing that up at the time of this man's death? You haven't brought it up in years. You haven't brought it up in years, and you think that this is in good taste. You think that this is in good taste. But they brought it up anyway. I'm just hoping that a thorough investigation is done. You know, I know there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there. I'm going to hold my conspiracies. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. However, I do remember that Simpsons thing that had Kobe in the helicopter thing. And the Simpsons have predicted a lot of stuff way before it happened. You can find that out here on YouTube. You know, look up Simpsons episode Kobe helicopter. You'll find it. It's out there. Yeah, they do a lot of stuff. So I don't know. You know, I mean, I know that Kobe was setting himself up to be in the position to be a big player, you know, like in entertainment and even potentially owning a team. Those were the things I know that he was setting himself up. Why would anybody want to stop that? You know? Hopefully we don't find that there was any sabotage to the helicopter. You know? But it's, you know, it's weird that this happened on the Grammys weekend. The last time somebody died on the Grammys weekend was Whitney Houston. And remember how weird it was when that happened? And it was a very, I don't know how many of you guys actually watched the Grammys, but it was a weird Grammys because Kobe's death was hanging all over it, you know. And they literally had to figure out a way to put him into the show. So now, since Kobe is an Oscar winner, I wonder what they're going to do at the Oscars. Even though he only had one film, I wonder if they're going to do something for him at the Oscars. You know? Oh, good night, DOD. Thanks for coming through. Yeah, no, according to what we have been able to find, those particular choppers, helicopters, can hold up to 18 people, depending on how it's configured. So this was half of that. And 3 of the individuals were children. So I don't think that it was any kind of weight issue. So, yeah, I know we all think about the plane crash with the Leah. where it was definitely the, too heavy. But, that wasn't, I think it was the weather. It was foggy. It was very, very overcast yesterday morning. I mean, as a matter of fact, the sun didn't come out until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it only came out for a minute, and then it went back to being overcast yesterday. It was, yeah. I'm thinking it was probably the weather. But I'm not going to keep you guys on here long tonight. I'm still kind of in my I'm still kind of, choked up about this. And I didn't think it was going to affect me like this, but I think because it, you just didn't see it coming. You just did not see it coming. I mean, and I think that's why it's probably affecting people stronger than it probably would have. If it was later in his life or whatever, you know what I'm saying, or was not under these same circumstances. But, I will be back with you guys tomorrow. I'm getting it together. I'll tell you guys about, the party that I went to over the weekend, and talk about some other stuff tomorrow. If there's more to talk about on Kobe, I will bring it up. But hopefully we'll have some other things that we can talk about tomorrow. But until then, you guys, I'm going to offer each of you guys peace and blessings. Bye, guys.